It was a historic moment back on the 7th of June last year when the Edward Colston statue, as you say, was toppled around about 500 metres or so from the museum where it's now on display. You can just see the harbour in the background here. That is where it was chucked into the water by those protesters during that Black Lives Matter protest on the 7th of June. It was recovered a couple of nights later by the council. And what's been happening over the last 12 months, they've not been restoring it, they've been conserving it. So it's gone on display today at the Museum here in Bristol. You'll still see the graffiti on it. You'll still see some of the writing on the statue, the scratches. The Colston statue lost its cane and a part of its coat was chipped off when it was chucked into the harbour there by the protesters. And it's been put in the museum behind us here, lying on its side. There was a moral discussion and a decision made by the History Commission here in Bristol and the Shed not to erect the statue again in an upright position. Instead, have it lying on its side and, as you say, surrounded by the placards and some contextual information in the museum about just what happened 1 year ago today. Well, tickets have sold out for today and indeed this weekend to come to the Shed. But we've been catching up with some of those people who've managed to get in today and take a look and hear their thoughts about seeing the Colston statue 1 year on.
For me, that is the correct place for it to be. Rather than sort of being looked at as something really, great to see.
It was good to explain to the children what it was all about and for them to understand why it was important not to destroy the statue but still to display it in a museum so people could be aware of the history of it, really.
It represents what we've been through in the past and then what we've been through obviously last year as well with George Floyd and that. So I think it's a perfect place for it because otherwise I don't think it should be back on its plinth anyway.
The thoughts there from some of the people from Bristol who've managed to get tickets to the Shed today. This is not the final place for the Colston statue. As well as the statue going on display today, there is a survey which is open to the public to find out exactly what Bristolians want to do with not only the statue in the Shed here, but also the empty plinth. That, of course, has been empty since it was toppled a year ago. Just behind the bridge here behind me, that plinth remains. The future of the plinth, the future of the statue will be decided from a consultation. There's no deadline on that. There's no deadline as to how long the temporary exhibition at the Shed here will go on for. We expect it to go on for until at least the end of this year, as well as that survey. And then a final decision will be made as to where that Colston statue and the context behind it will be put on display. And we'll wait to see that probably next year. But for now, this exhibition has opened. And as I say, the tickets sold out for this weekend so far.